favorite news. Here's how it works. All on the Facebook button at the bottom of the video player, just select start or watch part. You find whatever you want. Your party will be recorded and archived for playback anytime you want. 7 days a week, at the end of the month, the viewer that has the most people as their watch party will be invited on the TV show live. Let's have a party. We are at this in of 313-343-2166. That's 313-342-2166. Okay, now this is this way to deadly and that's the line. Located at 18 Spaces with access options, Wi-Fi, and all ready and complicated. Please the local regulators www.scripturalDiscussion.com or call 313-826-04. It's the website, You can make online donations and click on this to track the process. We want to be 800 Island Park.
80.1 WWVIE 107.3 FM Sharp, Amalia, Virgin Islands. Not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors. Are you tired of reading the Holy Scripture and not really?
The recording has started. The recording has
in your home. Then let's talk with them. Let's reason with one another on a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man every Wednesday at 9 p.m., Friday at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 12 noon on WHPR TV Detroit Live 88.868-0342 or 313-868-0351. That's 313-868-4333. 313-868-0351. And now, let's go live with a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man.
We're going to go and get those other things ordered. I'm going to order those other things. Son, the most and the most. I greet all of you once again who are hungry and thirsty for the Word of God and its true understanding. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. We want to give those who have disagreement with us the opportunity to have that discussion, an open public discussion of it with us. We a day and time that all of the secret thoughts of us are being made manifest. I remember the Honorable, he said, what will make you know when when everything tells the truth on itself? Just another way of saying it's now being made manifest. It's like when the day comes, all of those hidden shadows and things that you see outside, in the day, it is all made manifest. All you have to go is seek it out, and you shall find whatever it is that you're trying to find out. So I unlike people who want the truth to be what they believe it to be. Anything that contradicts that, they refuse to see it, refuse to hear it. I'm not one of them people. I think I've shown you that by conversations I've had with atheists, conversations I've had with the Ku Klux Klan, people who supposedly hate me because of my black skin or whatever. And because they thought that, or they think that somehow I'm a threat or danger to them. Other bottles up there. I'll just pour this rest of this in my bottle. We ain't got no cups. Got some cups. Thank you. I truly believe I have the truth. If I don't have the truth, I don't know I don't have it. Lying is knowing that what you're saying is not true and you stand up and say it anyway. You can believe a lie and speak it. And sometimes people will accuse you of being a liar. But a closer examination of you, if you are willing to be examined and you put forth the lie that you have been tricked into believing, and people start questioning you about it, soon they discover that you are not a liar. And they discover that you have just been deceived. And when they make that clear to you, you are grateful. Do you understand? You know, I mean, you got people walking around here that hate me because I make clear to them that they have been taught a lie. They didn't invent the lie, but they were deceived by the arch deceiver. And they have fallen out with me because I tell them in front of the one who taught them to lie. For instance, Christianity is nothing but a lie. White people know it. They know they made it up. Any Caucasian that said that, I mean, and I know you listening. If what I'm saying is not true, come in and let's have a discussion about Christianity and its origin. I mean, they told us its origin a long time ago. The Roman Catholic Church. The Jews and Judaism is a lie. It ain't never come from Moses. Moses ain't gave nobody no religion called Judaism. The Christians and the Jews go way back to people, those two religions there. Even though Christianity is just a little over 600 years old. But Catholic, now that go back some. That's why they call it the Roman. Huh? All right, now let's deal with this stuff here. Remember when they were scheming, and they said in John, the 11th chapter, in the 45th verse, it says, then let me see here. It's been a while since I did it, since I recited it. But that's why we have books, so we don't have to tax our memory so much. In the 45th verse, it says, then many of the Jews which came had seen the things which Jesus did, they say believed on him. No, they did not. They believed. And some of them, I know it say but some of them diligently compared and reviled. Huh? How you know that none of them believe on Jesus? You ain't met no Jew that claim he believe in Jesus. Huh? Jesus' life and his death was all for Allah. The truth that he spoke. It's just like people, they keep talking about the last messenger. They don't really know what they're saying. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the last messenger before me. I'm the messenger of the covenant of Allah. I'm the one that was prayed for to come and recite to you the messages and teach you the book and the wisdom and remove your misunderstanding, purifying you. So now, look at this verse here. Some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done. And then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council. They called a meeting. Huh? Well, for this man is doing many miracles. He's doing many both our position and the nation. So the Catholicism and Judaism go back a good little ways together. They've been scheming for a long time. Is that right? And if they're gonna take away our place, that means our position and the nation. So even to this day, you notice the Christians installed the Shah of Iran at one time. They upheld him. Christianity is given birth to, or rise to, out of Catholicism. You see. So, and that the creed of Christianity came from this plot here, where it says one of them named Caiaphas. It's the 49th verse. One of them named Caiaphas, being the high priest, the Pope. They don't call him high priest today. They call him the Pope. Is that right? He said unto them, you understand nothing at all. Consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die. Christianity. And so now this is where your creed came from. This is where your religious doctrine came from. And they call you Christians because they know you're an idiot to believe it. And if you look up Cretan, now he listening. When I say something that's not true, you don't only have my permission, you have my request to come in here and show me what's not true about it. Everything I'm telling you is in black and white here. Didn't Caiaphas say one man needs to die for the people? And why that one man need to die? Did he say it's expedient for the whole world that this man Jesus should die for the sins of the world? Did he say that? Or did he say they was worried about their position and their nation, right? That the Romans gonna take it away. And said, well, we got to kill him. It's better that him die than we lose everything. So they had to figure out a way to kill him. So they said, well, this is what he said. And this spake he not of himself. This is the 51st verse. But being the high priest that year, he prophesied. You know, the high priest, they considered him to be God's man. Ain't the Pope called the vicegerent of God on earth? Ain't that what they call him? When the Pope speak, God has spoken. Is that right? I notice he don't say nothing now. You don't hear too much from the Pope now. Do you? I wonder why. You know why. They get the internet in Rome. Before him shall be gathered all nations. That wouldn't have never been possible without the internet. Where did the internet originate from? The same place the Son of Man was born. To my Mecca. Mecca, the term Mecca means where knowledge and wisdom of the original man first started. Knowledge and wisdom of me into who and what I am, that started in Los Angeles, California. And the United States of America. Now, ain't no wonder the whole world trying to get here. Ain't no whole world trying to get over there to Mecca there. But everybody from everywhere tries to get to America. You got people, you can't name a country that ain't got some people here in America. That ain't no accident. But I'm going to leave it alone for right now. We're going to get back here to this lie. He said, and he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation. Now, who prophesied it? One of the crooks, right? One of them who wanted Jesus dead. Now you see why they call you Christians? Because they plotted to murder the prophet of God and got you to pat him on the back for it. Now, if that ain't telling somebody to go to hell and they enjoy packing for the trip, that's what to you. Don't you know you set yourself up to go to hell for persecuting and trying to murder God's prophets? You sitting up there shouting and hollering and going on talking about my Jesus, and you done murdered the poor man, murdered the poor man, and talking about his Good Friday. Yeah, and look at you. To show you, everyone here parakeeting that. You can't even fix your mouth to form an argument against me for what I'm showing you right here in the book. Then it says, and not only, he said for that nation, he said, and not for that nation only, but that also he should give in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. Now they done made up the lie as to why he got to be killed. He got to be killed because he got to save everybody. Huh? That's like Al Capone getting a hold to Elliot Ness and convincing the government of America that the reason he got to die is that we might. So he got to die. He got to die. He got to go. Y'all help me catch him and put him to death. Naturally, crooks want the police dead. Huh? Because if the police live, they'll catch him and put a stop to it. Is that right? Yeah. And then it says, and from that day forth, they took counsel together for to murder him. They said it in other words, to put him to death. What are you doing when you put somebody to death purposely? You're murdering them. But they're not going to say murder, because that might wake you up. So they say put him to death. And you want to come up here. I told you as a child, I never did really buy into that. And that. It's not that I was arguing with it. Don't get it. It's just that when they, had me, I believed in God. I believed in Jesus. But I just couldn't commit to that because I couldn't understand how that could be. 6 brothers, and all of them was older than me, but one. And I told you when a gang that I thought was going to jump on me, I didn't tell none of my big brothers. Because I didn't want now one of them to get hurt. If you're scared of something, you think that it can get everybody else too, you see. But so I ain't go for this. Why should Jesus be hurt for me? Well, if you can explain that to me now, maybe you can convert me. But you're going to have to really go something to convince me that someone who ain't guilty of sinning need to be punished for what I did as a sinner? How is it just to do that? Is that justice? But unjust people, they believe in unjust things. What you suppose that make you who say you believe that? Why should Jesus suffer for what you did? I don't think he should suffer for what I did. I think I'm the one supposed to pay for what I did. What make you think that Jesus should have been killed for you? That don't sound like something God would do. That sounds like something the devil would do. Huh? I mean, imagine your son. You got one son. They say he's God's only son. Right? Now, God went through all that trouble, according to you, to speak a baby into Mary. I mean, really, he went some. They don't even say he spoke Adam into existence. But do you know he actually put a baby in Mary, and his son loved him, and think about that. Now, here's your father that you love. I can't teach it like the messenger taught it, but he sure got the point across. He said, didn't your father tell you, say, come here, son. See all these wicked people? Yeah. Son, I'm going to have to kill you to save all these wicked people. And the son said, oh, God. Oh, man. Do you see how crazy that sounds? Son, I'm going to put you on the cross and kill you. When you die on that cross, we go give him your body on the cross as a sign of salvation. Dead man on the stick. Well, that's what you got. A dead man on a stick. And you're talking about now, how in the world you go think you got some salvation in that? So I just couldn't. I never could believe nothing like that. I just no. You start telling me something like that, you lost my attention. I used to go to sleep. By the time the preacher got through preaching, that's when I'd wake up. You know, nobody said, boy, don't you go up to sleep. No, I'd sit right there, lay my head on my mama's side, and before I know it, I'll sleep. And watch your children when you go to church. The children, you go watch them when they go to church, I bet you see most of them sitting up in their sleep. The one that ain't sleep, well, naturally you're gonna hold something. You can come in and offer somebody Haley's Comet as a something to worship, and they'll pretty soon you get some few followers. You get somebody to go for it. And so, you know, it is really sad that this is put right here in this book to show you that God ain't had nothing to do with talking about Jesus came to die for everybody. That was a plot that they hatched to justify murdering Jesus, so and the people wouldn't cry out because the people was just that stupid. I mean, you got to be pretty stupid to think that you can do wrong and then go kill a goat and offer him, and that'll absolve you from your sin. You ain't too bright to start with. Well, the only one you could convince of something like that had to be a caveman. You see? So you and I have been ruled by a caveman. We civilized him enough. He put him on a suit and taught him the names of everything and taught him trick knowledge. Didn't you ever wonder where them magicians get all them tricks from? Moses taught them some of that. You know, they didn't get it. It actually came from Yaqub. But look, the black man been on this planet for trillions of years. You think we ain't learned little tricks and stuff? If we learn how to put the moon out there, you think we didn't learn other things? So, time for you to know these things. And so we are not here to deceive you. We are here to make you wise to the deceiver. It's just like when people call the messenger the last messenger and all that. He was the latest messenger. That's what that was. How can there be a last one that the truth is with? Unless you think man gonna become extinct. Huh? Next time you get a dictionary, just go in there and look up the word latest. And pretty soon you will find the word last. You see? The latest messenger is the last messenger. Do you understand? You know? But people didn't, you know, the wicked always want latest to be last, meaning ain't gonna be no more. They want last to be ain't gonna be no more. Well, the wicked always want nobody to be able to condemn them. Huh? It ain't gonna happen, Captain. You ain't never gonna be without the man of truth in your midst. Whenever one go away, it's only because one done rose up a little wiser than that one. Case in point. What do you got that you think the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught you that you can argue with me with? He told me, he said, look, in the hereafter, there's not going to be no end to your wisdom. Hereafter, I ain't here no more. You're going to just grow and grow and grow. Look what I'm doing. Growing and growing and growing. Just like what I just told you about latest and last. So now, here, William Lynch, he taught them how to make a slave out of us. And he had a brand new bag. He said, in my bag here, that's what he said. He said, in my bag here, I have a foolproof method of controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. Sound like you know something about history, huh? Know something about prophecy, huh? He said, and maybe, he said, my method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. Says, I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and I make them bigger, more than they really are. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple list of differences and think about them. On the top of the list is age, but it is there only because it starts with A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size of plantations, status on plantation. If you give them a title, just talk. Yeah, use all that. Status on the plantation. You remember Django? Remember what's his name? Sat in the master's chair and drank the master's corn whiskey out of the crystal glass. And he kicked his foot up on the table and told master, now you see them niggas there. Yeah, he talking like he a white boy. Ain't that something? That's the way we've been doing. That's all Willie Lynch. Then it said, the attitude of the owners. And say, I got a good master. Huh? Yes, our master better than your master. You know, that works. Good cop, bad cop, you know. Then it says, whether the slaves live in the valley or on the hill. Where they live, east side, west side. Huh? Projects. Huh? Yeah. It says, on a hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, Fine hair, good hair. Is that right? Yeah. And what we used to say too. We see one with some fine big waist, they say he got some good hair. What is good hair and bad hair? What is bad hair? If it's what you came here with. Well, anyway, it says fine hair or coarse hair, or is tall or short. Says, now that you have a list of differences that you can magnify and make a big deal out of, it said, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust. You know what they say? Bad news, travel how? At the speed of light. Good news, because people, it's something about good news in a world full of evil, that good news almost get ran over on the freeway. If you try to spread some good news, better look out. Huh? Because don't nobody want to hear that. They don't want to believe nothing good about their neighbor. But anyway, it says, I will assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation, respect or admiration. Envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling. Meaning, if you teach it to them and put it in them right, you won't have to keep on doing it. They'll start doing it to themselves. It ain't a one of us that ain't, well, some of y'all in here that grew up under the new nation of Islam, you ain't never thought that. But all of us who grew up out there in that world is something we all said, including me. If you're white, you're right. If you're yellow, you're mellow. If you're brown, you can stick around. But if you're black, get back. Huh? We passed that around among ourselves. We sure did. And it says, don't forget, you must pitch the old black male against the young black male. And that's one of the things we used to say. That old nigga don't know what he's talking about. That's what we said when we was young. Hey, get on, old man. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. That was done to us purposely, teaching us to not respect our elders. And as long as you don't respect your elders, you don't respect your history. So when your elder could have warned you about certain things, you weren't going to pay no attention. But the elder ain't going to warn you about certain things if he's against you. So you have to put both against each other. You can't just do it on one way. Because if one of them loved the other one, then he's going to respect him. And maybe pretty soon that chain reaction of self-hatred will be broken. You see? So, well, it's just like with me. You know, I saw my daddy breaking that chain. I'd see him fussing at people. They'd be asked him for a couple of dollars or something. Older man, you know, men that was men. And he fussed at him. That boy, you're so and so and such and so and so. Call him boy. And he said, why don't you do better? And he, after he get through getting on him, he go in his pocket and say, yeah. And they said, okay, Mr. Taylor. And they always called him Mr. And I used to say, why did he let that old man talk to him like that? And but they let him talk to him like that because he did care something about him. He cared enough about him to try to correct them. Most of these people, because they ain't never cared about nobody, they don't recognize when somebody do care about them. You have to have cared about folks yourself before you can recognize when somebody care about you. You see, and that's the truth. People that don't care nothing about you, they don't offer you no correction. They just let you go. There ain't none of my business. I don't care what that so-and-so do. Most times we say that nigga do. I don't care what that nigga do. And that's why we ain't got nothing. Because nobody cared until the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, I'm not going to say Marcus Garvey didn't care. I'm not going to say Noble Drew Ali didn't care. But it's not enough to just care. You have to know how to care to change things. Where's the, like many people try to compare others to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Where are the students of all these other people that you claim was so great? You got a man standing in front of you that stayed under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad from 1973 to 1975. And now I'm standing up talking to the whole world. And I wouldn't be doing that if the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had not had not been raised up in America to teach me. Now, I wasn't under him but 2 years. And I never met him. I just heard his words. Of course, I just heard Jesus's words too. I never met him either. Moses, Ezekiel, Jeremiah. But I know more about their words than anyone. Now, how do you explain that since you don't believe I'm the Lord? What makes me know so much about what they had to say? You sure don't know. Okay. Now, it says, now don't forget, you must pitch the old black versus the young black. And the young black male versus the old black male. And the light-skinned slaves and the versus the dark-skinned slave. You must use the female versus the male and the male versus the female. Keep them all at each other. Divide them against one another. Huh? And it says, a house divided against itself, what? Well, have we been able to stand? Yeah, okay. And it said, you must also have all your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks. In other words, don't never let your white overseers and whatnot that ain't hip to the game we playing or running, don't let them get to be friends with none of these slaves. You must have them to all distrust all of them. Huh? Well, how you gonna make them distrust them? Lie to them. Tell them that these slaves one day they're gonna destroy all of us. And it's written at 6 days. And a day is as 1,000 years. So after 6,000 years, these what you call harmless slaves here, they're going to rise up and destroy us. So that worked for a while. There's you must also have all your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks. Ain't that something the Jehovah's Witness people call their people in charge, overseers? And it says, but it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. Yeah, we used to say the white man's ice colder than that nigger. That nigger's ice. The white man's ice still had a frost on it. And the nigger got that wagon in it, and his ice is slick. So the white man's ice is cold. Oh man, boy, I grew up in some interesting times. Oh man, we used to put a blue sheet over the front of a blue plastic thing they sell to put over the front of your TV to make it look good. Oh my God, television was all black and white, but I knew anything about television. So, and you had tubes that when the television went out or whatnot, you look back there in it and go to the drugstore. They carried tubes also. And you could get the number on the tube, take it down there, and you get another tube, put it in your TV, and it start working again. But you don't know nothing about that. I tell you, one of these days I'll be talking to people, telling them about what used to happen in 1935. You know, of course, by then they'll realize who I am. Then it says, but it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. And that's right. We used to say, look, if you want it done right, you better call that white man. That's what we used to say. Some of y'all old enough that if you 70 and up, you know what I'm talking about. He said they must love, respect, and trust only us. Can't have them niggas trusting each other. Next thing you know, they'll be leading one another. Then, so gentlemen, these kits are keys to control. You'll see why I'm reading this in a minute. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity to sow a seed of dissension. Do you understand? See a real dark one and a light-skinned one, high yellow one walking. Oh, you so nice. And what happened to that black thing? Yeah. Many times I was called you old black dog. My little brother used to call me old black dog. But anyway, systematic physical breaking and psychological reversing process. In other words, break the will to resist. Now, the breaking process is the same for both the horse and the nigger. Only in long-range economic planning. You must keep your eye and thoughts on the female and the offspring of the horse and the nigger. Look, there's a brief discourse in offspring development will shed light on the key to sound economic principles. Pay little attention to the generation of original breaking. Concentrate on future generations. Therefore, if you break the female, the mother, she will break the offspring in its early years of development. And when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you for her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. In other words, our mothers will be teaching us, son, you go to school so you can come out and get a good job. And that's exactly what they was doing. Never even attempted to tell us, you go to school, get education so you can come back and build up something in our community and open businesses and something in our community here. And so we can develop some type of economical base from which to begin our journey towards independence. But no, just come out and get a good job. And so, for example, take the case of the wild stud horse, a female horse and an already infant horse, and compare the breaking process with two captured nigger males. In their natural state, a pregnant nigger woman will, with her infant offspring, take the stud horse, break him for limited containment, completely break the female horse until she becomes very gentle, whereas you or anybody else can ride her in comfort. Breed the mare and the very gentle and the stud, breed the mare and the stud until you have the desired offspring. Then you can turn the stud to freedom until you need him again. Train the, you notice, brothers, we got a history of making babies and just leaving. Huh? That's history that was done to us in slavery. It says, when it comes to breaking the uncivilized nigger, use the same process, but vary the degree and step up the pressure so as to do a complete reversal of the mind. Take the meanest, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male niggers, the female and the infant nigger. Tar and feather him, tie each leg to a different horse faced in opposite directions, set him on fire, and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining niggers. The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger male to the point of death in front of the female and infant. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding. You see, they use terror on us. Do you understand? Now you understand what's meant when they say lynch that nigger. Apply the Lynch principles to that nigger. Huh?
A couple dozen white guys, boring looking guys in suits, doing some sort of an ersatz demonstration.
I mean,
what is this supposed to look like?
It looked like a fraternity prank.
A fraternity prank. It just seemed like, look at these guys. It's so boring. And this is supposed to say we caught them in the act, and what they caught when they got to the basement of the Capitol was a bipartisan set of hearings and taking a testimony on impeachment with the rooms filled with Republicans.
Maybe a fraternity reunion prank. They're all.
Maybe, what do you think when you see that picture? It'll be in the paper tomorrow, front page probably, that picture.
I mean, they're obviously voicing their dissatisfaction with what's happening. At the same time, they're trying to show some sort of a coalition against what's happening with the impeachment inquiry. I don't know about passion. That's not the first word that jumps to my mind when I see that. But I mean,
we say Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line. There they are falling in line.
Maybe they were
we have to do this. John, thank you guys. Term so powerful. President Trump said yesterday he's being lynched, that he has chosen that term so powerful.
Is he being lynched? But now watch Chris Matthews. He kind of
America's dark history is instructive because lynching cannot be separated from that history. Rich white people weren't lynched. Black, mostly poor people were lynched. Being lynched was a means of taking life outside the legal constitutional system. It was an act of murder. Donald Trump's not being dragged out of a cell and hauled out into the country by a mob. He's facing impeachment by those who took the same oath of office to the Constitution that he did. He's being impeached for having violated that oath, for using his position of public trust for personal political benefit to himself. And he will get a fair trial. But not even the grave circumstances he now faces, not even the reckoning that hangs now above him has chastened this president. And instead of realizing the situation and making his best defense, he tries to shame the forces of justice by equating them with those that gathered up to reap ultimate injustice on generations of Black Americans. Facing the truth of his abuse of power, he hides himself in the historic skin of those who did nothing but be born Black in America. And that's hardball for now. Thanks for being with us tonight. All In with Chris Hayes starts right now.
I think he summed that up pretty good. In the first place, it really ain't in me to do to you what y'all did to me. I just couldn't do that to nobody. You know, once in my life, I helped some brothers roll a brother. Group of us got together and brother was drunk. And I helped take his money. I felt so stupid after I did that. It just, like I said, the next day I went to school and gave away all the money. I wasn't gonna go back and give it back to him and let him know I was that stupid to be. But it's unfathomable how people can be so unjust to one another. You know, I think I learned the lesson that I needed to learn from our history here, which is injustice is wrong. I see the value of teaching people to put yourself in other people's position. If you have authority, then do to them as you would like to be done to you if your roles were reversed. So we got a long way to go. Some of us longer than others. And it's sad to say that most of us will never get there. But anyway, it won't be because we didn't try to get you there. It was only because you didn't believe. So let's see. Now, I'm going to let you hear As I was looking at Chris Hayes, I think that was Chris Hayes that came on after him. But the next one, they was talking about presidents and what presidents don't do. And I'm so thankful that I had a leader that epitomized leadership. It don't get no better than a messenger of God. And because I'm the Son of Man, that's what I needed. I needed someone to prepare the way for me. And so it was written, it says, behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare thy way before thee. I send my messenger before thy face, and he shall prepare thy way before thee. Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right in front of my face, showed me what leadership is supposed to be. And I'm going to let you hear Minister Farrakhan introducing, and talking about the messenger. This is what I heard when the messenger was here. This is the Minister Farrakhan. Now, I didn't hear this particular lecture until after the messenger wasn't here no more. I didn't hear none of the theology of time while the messenger was here. They kept that in a circle to themselves, and I know why now. But the messenger knew that eventually they'd put it up for sale and they would get it out there. That's why he said that this teaching will rise a powerful son of truth. He knew that I'd eventually hear what he had to say. And as he said, I would never be able to thank him enough for it. And, but as I listen to Minister Farrakhan now and some of the other ministers, they are just shells of what they used to be. When they were under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I mean, you can't even compare them now to what they were, And I don't resent them now because, I understand that everything that happened had to happen. The messenger said it was going to happen. When a messenger of God tells you something, when he prophesies that this is going to happen and that going to happen, ain't no sense you thinking you're going to stop that. It's going to happen. And so, Minister Farrakhan, he didn't have no more choice in it than nobody else did. I just wish I could reach him and let him know, man, I'm the one that y'all all helped get here. Now you don't want me. What's wrong with you? It's plain to see. You should know you not the one. All of them know. I mean, I'm standing up here talking about all of them is off, and ain't none of them trying to come in here and argue with me. You don't dare say I'm off. Don't you find me yourself staring in my face. Or you'll find me at least on the other end of your phone asking you what is your problem. If I'm off, what am I off about? But those brothers that, like I said, they help hold the door open for me. And I just cannot, in good conscience, turn my back on them. I just can't do that. I have to lower my wing to them. Because when I was little, when I was dead, they took me in and they nursed me to strength. So, I will always keep that door, that bridge. That bridge will always be there for them.
I won't take up no more of your time. Minister of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. One who loves to work for Messenger Elijah Muhammad. One whom we love to listen to. Who is Muhammad's Temple number 7, New York City. And also to Elijah Muhammad, I call before you our beloved brother minister, Louis Farrakhan. For Raj Muhammad, the one God to whom all praise is due, the Lord of us, man and the black woman of America, with a divine leader in the personage of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. To Minister Yusuf Shah, members of the official sisters, I'm very grateful and thankful to Allah and His Messenger for this opportunity just to say a few words to you on behalf of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. My dear brothers and sisters, the world, many people have thought in the past that Jesus was the last messenger of God. The Muslim world has also thought that Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, was and is the seal of the prophets and the last of the messengers of God. But today the Christian world, I heard the messenger say once that if a man is the last sweeper to come into the room, finishes sweeping, the room should be swept clean. But if a man says that he is the last sweeper and there's still some dirt around, someone made a mistake.
You know, the fact they were the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not the last teacher they was going to see. He even told them God was coming after him. You remember the Word was with God and the Word was God. Well, it didn't stop there. In the 14th verse of that same chapter, that said, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Well, the messenger told you that the prophet said, thus saith the Lord. He said, I say, here he is. All of them told you that the Lord himself would come to you. That's me. If I hadn't stood here and told you that that's me, you'd be later on talking about, well, how come you didn't tell us? I did tell you. Not only did I tell you, I did things among you that you ain't never seen another Negro or no white man do. If I had not done a work among them that no other man did, they had excuse. Now you ain't got no cloak. And I don't have to sit up and say what I did for you. There's a whole lot of them out there know what I did for them. Sitting up talking about me behind my back as though I've been your worst enemy. when I ain't did nothing to none of you, but tried to help you. But that's all right. It's like them who say, well, ain't nobody, the messenger say ain't nobody gonna teach us nothing. The messenger said that nobody is coming after him that will teach you the knowledge of self, God, and the devil. Well, you already know who yourself is, you know who God is, and you know who the devil is. You don't need me to teach you that. But you do need me to verify that, because you couldn't do it. They was about to, WD had all y'all throwing it away. Because all you was doing was quoting the messenger. You didn't understand that what he was saying was based on the scriptures of truth. I took you in there and showed you that what he said was true. I take you in there and I verify all of the messengers of God. A messenger comes to you verifying that which is with you. You shall believe in him, Jesus. You shall believe in him, Elijah. You shall believe in him, Ezekiel. You shall believe in him, Moses. You shall believe in him, Jeremiah. And all of them believed in me. Solomon believed in me. And they all told you I was coming. So now the Minister Farrakhan, he was thinking he was talking about the messenger as being the one who would come to make truth so plain that wouldn't be nothing else for somebody to teach. There's going to always be something else for somebody to teach, but it ain't going to always be something else for somebody to teach about these scriptures. I'm here to do away with the mystery. When that which is perfect is come, that which is in part shall be done away with. That's because the mind that's in me is complete. It's perfect. That's why can't nobody teach you after me. You can't take up where I leave off.
The last messenger of God is a very, very powerful man. The last messenger of God makes it unnecessary ever again for there to be a need for a messenger. Just think about that. So many people misunderstand why a messenger in the first place. The Holy Quran teaches us that messengers are raised to explain. If a man is the last messenger, he makes truth so plain, so clear, so understandable that there's nothing left for another teacher to teach us. The last messenger puts us on the path of perpetual truth. I think that the world needs a teacher. You cannot deny the fact that the Muslim world is confused today. They're confused not because Muhammad was the last messenger. You can't say that the Christian world is self-sufficient on the path to perpetual life in need of a... If Jesus was the last prophet of ignorance, why would the black man not know him? As black people, we need to be taught something about everything. The black man needs to be taught the manners of decency, needs to be taught how to love each other.
We need to be taught how to get along with one another. We need to be taught principles that the rest of the world may have learned for thousands. The Muslim world needs a teacher. The world of Asia or Asiatic people fulfill it. Jesus didn't fulfill it. It's left today to be fulfilled by the naturally dead people, the black man and the black woman of America. And that man, unnecessary ever again for a messenger to come. That man and make man like, putting man in a perpetual orbit of righteousness. That he will never again depart the right way, the nature in which he was created. That man is on the scene today. The man of whom I speak, you will behold in a...
So as you see, all of them ministers, that's what they kept. And he told them, he said that, matter of fact, let me see where we left off on that so I can make sure that okay, 707. So I can make sure that I get back to it. But that's basically how it's going to be at the end. I'm going to be taking some and leaving others. So pay attention in class. I'm telling you. You pay attention, you might make it. If you don't pay attention, you're not going to make it. So, let's see if I can find this. Let's see. Here it is.
I don't say I'm a prophet because it's the end of prophets. I'm a messenger of God and not a prophet. I've got nothing to prophesy because this is the end of prophets. So I got nothing to prophesy. Elijah, now places in the Quran as a righteous man, good man. The Holy Quran give it to him was with the number of those, but not exactly referring to him as a prophet, because he liked to come to prophesy, but to deliver the final message to the people and join with God. That's why you don't find his grave in the Bible nor Holy Quran. You don't find where they buried Elijah. Well, he under several other names. The Bible calls this name meaning as one with God. It says this man's name means God is with us. And that is also true interpretation. God is with us. The Bible teaches you and me that this Elijah must fight. He don't come after God. He goes before God. And this is what the book is meaning. He must.
That Elijah must first come. He don't come after God. He goes before God. But then right behind him, God will do. And I'm here. I've taken the book out of the hands of those who lie about its content, which is all of you all who call yourself preachers and imams and rabbis and whatever you call them yourself. The book done already said, could no man open it and read it. Now you stand up there and call yourself making a lie out of it. And so I'm here. I've taken the book from you, and I'm, as he goes on to say here, that I would come out myself to be the champion. What is the? You've seen champions. When they say you the champion, that's because he done whooped everybody. Is that right? And that's in boxing, right? They go for the championship. And basketball, and one team leaves victorious. Is that right? Huh? Do you hear anybody contesting me being the Son of Man? You know, and in the Christian ceremonies, and even in our ceremonies, we always ask if any man or any believer can show just cause why this marriage should not take place, let him speak now or forever hold your peace. Huh? Okay. I have given you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And that opportunity is still open to you to avail yourself of the phone, unmute your phone and tell people why they should not follow me, why they should not accept me as being the coming of the bridegroom. I don't care if you're white. You can unmute your phone. Your color don't mean nothing to me. You come on in there and you share what truth you have that condemns me as the Son of Man and condemns my religious doctrine, which is the only true Islam. And I said, what I'm teaching is the only true Islam. Now what? Look at that. The silence. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you that I would come and come out myself.
Their will of God. Let thy will be done. The Christian prayer. On earth as it is in heaven. But, what do you mean? Let thy will meaning Allah will can be done as long as of God universal, as long as he has a free enemy to attack his will. We must rid the people of the enemy as from attacking the truth and from attacking the truth for one. So we must rid the earth of opening. Let and you will not be hindered by no means and by no one. So God raised up himself to fight the final war for truth, peace, and security for the righteous. He comes out himself to be the champion. Comes out himself to be the champion and lead the righteous to victory. I will.
I ain't nobody challenging, so I must be the champion. What? I told you was gonna learn to stop. Call yourself judging somebody by their looks. Told you was gonna learn to be scared of me. If the messengers of God were afraid of me, as they say, fools rush in, where messengers of God fear the tree. So, let's get back here to this introduction.
Duty to the messenger, then we sometimes get a little sad, but I shall. Brothers and sisters, the man Elijah has a hard job. His job, Shabazz and Brother Minister Yusuf Shah said, is to clean up a people who have fallen in the mud of civilization. We are as Jesus described us. I'm coming home now. See, when we talk about the messenger, we all get happy. When we talk about our duty to the messenger, then we sometimes get a little sad, but I shall not be remiss in my duty. I want to remind you and me that we have a duty to the messenger of God. Let's listen. How many of you are here today for the first time who have never been to Muhammad's temple before? May I see your hands, please? Thank you. Now then, and the New Testament opens up with the miraculous birth of Jesus to a human being without the agency of a man. That is a lie. A people never known a man, never known the truth, never. As a virgin has never been introduced to a man, never known this. The Holy Ghost came. Not a ghost, but a man, a holy to the black man, to make him pregnant with a messenger that would be known as the Son of God. Open the eyes of the blind, to make the deaf hear, the lame walk, and to raise dead to life, to cleanse the leper, to make the man who was paralyzed to walk again. Out to us so palpably clear that scripture is referring to you and me. For we have eyes, brothers and sisters, but we can't see. For man does not see by the physical light, he sees by not what the physical day sun is brought into focus. With the light of knowledge, he's looking at an object, but he cannot perceive it. Isaiah says they have none understanding. We can't see. We have ears.
direction of God. When you know better and refuse to do, Son of Man, they hear your words, but they will not do them. That's what I see. I'm not here to carry on racism. I'm not here to duplicate what white people did in black skin. Your skin ain't no badge of righteousness. Whosoever is a doer of good and a believer, that's the ones I'm here for. And all of my spiritual sons and daughters all over the earth, you shall inherit it. Everybody that's not righteous, they soon not gonna be here. And when I say not righteous, I mean for the same reason that Abraham trusted God. It was accounted to him for righteousness. But when it all is said and done, the simplest definition of righteousness is the willingness to trust in and obey God. Just that simple. So, all you arrogant people out there that think that you can just do what you please on this earth, the scripture told you the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. If the scripture says the heaven is God's throne and the earth is his footstool. Wait, you know what? How you clown and go on with somebody coming in your house doing something you don't want done. Oh, you can sure enough clown. Hey, man. Didn't I tell you not to do that in my house? Get out of my house. Can't they clown? Oh yeah, I know you clown when somebody come in your house doing something that you said you didn't want done in your house. And they better not say they ain't going. Huh? I remember my daddy said, okay, you stand there till I get back here. he had, I think my daddy had 5 or 6 shotguns. And boy, he'd go down and get that shotgun, you get out of there. One way or the other, you was going to walk out of there, he's going to carry you out there. But no, I ain't got to whip up some tornadoes and stuff and come get you. I bet you they'll get you out of here. Put that material that you made out of back in the good earth. Ain't nothing wrong with that material. It's just that you got the wrong mind controlling it. So, I'm telling you all, you better get it right. Get it in your mind that you want to be right. Whoever you follow, you get them and bring them into this class and tell them that I will let them be the host. And then I will question them and I will be their guest, and they can tell me when they can speak, so they won't have no excuse not to come in. I don't care what religion he teaches. You get him in here. And I'll let him take over the host position, and I will be in the position of the guest. See? And then you watch the difference in other people when they call themselves hosting something and me. You notice, even though I'm the host, if somebody make a noise, I say, wait a minute, somebody had something they want to ask me, I stop, don't I? That's because I'm not a liar. Liars like to pretend they didn't hear you, but you know. I'm gonna tell you something. If I can hear when you make a noise, even though I be talking sometimes kind of loud, I can hear when somebody make a noise. Then what makes you think I think that don't work on your end? You be hearing when I say, just a minute, just a minute. You just keep talking. You see? So, you know, now if you the host and your guest is trying to speak, I'll grant you sometime these phones may not work the best that they should. Especially if you're talking from a cell phone. You know, anything this serious, if I was you, I'd get you a landline somewhere. I'm not talking to you from no cell phone. I'm talking to you from the landline. But I guarantee you, if you trying to get my attention and I don't stop, it's because I don't hear you. It's not because I'm ignoring you. That's why, you know, one thing that liars have in common is all of them talk fast. I mean, you'd be wondering if the man taking time to breathe. They're talking so fast. You know, and when people talk fast, that's a dead giveaway, especially if you listen to them when they just having casual conversation and they don't talk that fast. Well, why, when you trying to get me interested in something or whatnot, why is it that you speed up your cadence? It's because you are lying. As they, you know, that's where the term trying to pull a fast one came from. You see? Trying to put forth a fast idea, trying to pull a fast lie, a wool over your eyes. You know, this, I mean, these people, you know. I'm always listening when people talking, and I'm always looking and observing. You see, I have to because I'm the judge. You notice, don't nobody tell me they don't believe I'm the judge. If you don't believe I'm the Son of Man, you can't believe I'm the judge because the Son of Man is the one that's supposed to execute the judgment. See? And so I'm here executing the judgment. And So you, if you have evidence that need to be heard to disprove something that you have heard me teach or heard any messenger of God teach, because understand something. If you back up a lie, then, you know, as the messenger said, if one word I'm teaching is a lie, it's all a lie. That's what he told her. He told everybody. Everybody heard him say it. Yeah, he goes, you know, if you say Elijah has lied, you're saying God has lied. If you say any of the messengers who brought the truth has lied, then you're calling that God that was with them a liar. And you just can't make the truth into a lie. You can deceive somebody who don't know the truth into believing that the truth is a lie. But you can't make the truth a lie. It's just like math. You just can't make math lie. Math will not lie. Anytime you try to make math lie, if you say 2 times 5 is equal to 12, ain't nobody got to say you lying. They just draw a line through the equal sign. It means it's not equal to 12. Is that right? Math won't help you lie. Math will assume, oh, you must have made a mistake there. You forgot to put the line through it. Is that right? When you really know the truth, man, you can do like that song say, killing me softly with his song. You can just quietly and gently correct people. Huh? You know, I was listening at all of the introductions that Mr. Farrakhan and a lot of the ministers was making of the messenger. And the messenger even here joined. He told him, he said, of course, a lot of them would have just left him if they had really known the truth. And he was the one that was preparing the way for one man. But they wanted to stand up and teach. So he let them. And he sent teachers all over the country because he was looking for one man. He couldn't go all over the country looking for that one man. So he sent out ministers looking. They didn't know what they was looking for, but he told them, yeah, this is what you teach. And he showed them the blackboard and everything. And every Muhammad's temple you went into, you saw the same blackboard with the same question on it. You had the American flag on one side, and under that, you had Christianity, and you had slavery, suffering, and death, and a black man swinging on a tree. Slavery, suffering, and death. And then on the right side of the book, you had the crescent and star, and freedom, justice, and equality, Islam. And in the middle of it, you had a question: which one will survive the war of Armageddon? And you see Armageddon war is going on now. I'm taking you into the Word and the place where it is found. And declaring war on your false religion. You don't have no defense for what you've been teaching. You can't find the term Sunni Islam in the Holy Quran. You can't find the term Shiite Islam. All these different types of Islam that you got out there, that's you made that. The only term you find in the Holy Quran is Islam. The only term you find in the Holy Bible is Islam. You don't find, it's just like me. You play games. I'm not here to play games with you. I remember in English, they teach you that you can substitute the meaning of a word for the word, and the sentence will still make sense. Well, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom, but they that believe in Islam, that they that do the will of my Father, which is in heaven. Well, what's the difference? Islam means entire submission to the will of God. And since the mind that was in Jesus was fathered, authored by God, then Jesus called God my Father. He said, my Father. You see? So we are not here to play games with you. We are here to make known the truth to you. No. I had to go flip that switch to cool. You think I kind of hungry? It is to me. Just flip it over to the right, I think. Okay. So we are happy and anxious to talk with people who don't agree with us and have a different religious belief. Come in, let's discuss. Let's see what you have. Do you hear anyone else inviting others who are opposing religious views to come in? I welcome Scientologists to come in here. They just don't come. One did come in here and got angry when I started questioning her. She thought she had found another forum where people was going to just let her spoon feed them. Huh? Then come to find out, she was in a forum where people could think, and she didn't want that. She said, "I didn't come in here for this. Thank you for inviting me. I'm gone." You remember that, Brother Jamal? Yeah. Now, what kind of religious doctrine you have that you hide? The scripture I read said, "Get on the housetop and shout it out." What? Any man that light a candle, he don't put it up on the bush. He put it on the candlestick, don't he? So they can give light to all that enter into the house. Pardon me. Water is good. Found out I didn't need to drink as much of that. See how refreshing your memory with how to eat to live helped me to get out. I don't have to drink all that water. He's overdoing it. As the messenger broke it down for us, he said, you eat 3 meals a day, naturally a day you drink 6 glasses of water. But if you ain't eating but 1 meal a day, you don't eat but 2 glasses of water. And he said, that makes all the sense in the world. So I ain't never been that big of a water drinker, but my kidneys working fine. Everything is fine. All praises to Allah. Now, which one will survive the war of Armageddon? Look to me like Islam. Since ain't nobody else arguing, Allah told me to argue with them in the best manner. Invite to the way of thy Lord. Let me see if I can find it. I like to, when you got the right, when you have the right key, you can open any door. You understand what I mean by that? I mean, when you're dealing with, just like you hear me, I got me a online Holy Quran that I put there a long time ago. I forgot I had put it there. And if you, the wonderful thing about computers is if you know certain phrases, it will take you to wherever that phrase is, if it's a book that you got there. So you got a built-in concordance there. Let's see if I can. Say what? Chapter 16 in the Holy Quran. And I think brother said verse 125. Let me see if it's that in this book. Sometime they get it off. Yes. This is something that I think that you need to start at the 120th verse. The way to greatness. Well, the way to greatness is to find the greatest one. The way to Allah. Allah is the greatest. And the way to greatness is through him. So it says, surely Abraham was a model of virtue, obedient to Allah, upright, and he was not of the polytheists. He was not of those who thought they were gods besides God. Grateful for his favors. Yes. He chose him on the right path. And we gave him good, and surely among the righteous, who is absent from the body and present with the Lord. Then we revealed to thee, follow the faith of Abraham. Associate other gods with God. While you go through your day. Look at all of the things around you, the plants, especially if you live out in the woods like I do. Water, everything around you. You are looking at the manifestation of the truth. You are looking at the manifestation of the truth. But the truth that produced those things, you cannot see with your physical eye. That's why we close our eyes when we pray. To remind ourselves that we don't worship the manifestation, we worship that which caused that manifestation. Do you understand? The physical eye comprehends him not. As it's written, vision comprehends him not. And he comprehends all vision. Yeah. So it says, then we reveal to thee, follow the faith of Abraham, the upright one. And he was not of the polytheists. The Sabbath was ordained only against those who differed about it. What is that to say? That's the devil. He's the one different about the Lord's day. He disagreed with righteousness. He could not agree with what he could not understand. No one can. It wasn't in him to understand righteousness. That's why he couldn't figure Job. He thought Job was only submitting to Allah because Job, the stuff that Job had. Job was wealthy. Allah had blessed Job with wealth. And so the devil said, yeah, you take it from him here. Yeah, as good as it's saying, he'll do what I do. I'd cuss you if you took it from me. That's what he said. You'll take it from him, he'll cuss you to your face. The Lord told the devil, said, well, all that he has is in your power. You do it. But don't you take his life. And so Satan got busy. He differed. You know, that's why the Lord told him, you got 6 days to do all of your work, which is what? Different from my work. The Sabbath was ordained only against those who differed about it. And surely thy Lord will judge between them on the day of resurrection, wherein they differed. You remember, the Pharisees and the Sadducees didn't believe, and they thought resurrection meant getting up out the ground. Huh? But as the messenger said, we believe in the resurrection, but not in physical resurrection, but in spiritual and mental resurrection. Huh? That's right. So thy Lord will judge between them on the day of resurrection, since it was appointed once unto men to die, as in Adam, surface of the earth, that's a human being, spiritually died under the dispensation of Israel. Adam, the white race. And so this is the spiritual resurrection is to take place. It is rightly called the day of resurrection. You see, the night of majesty is wherein everybody died. A period of darkness that lasted, they said it was better than 1,000 months. Yeah, it was 6,000 years. So he says, thy Lord. What Lord? The Lord of men, the Lord of Abraham. And know ye that the Lord, he is God. Well, then he's the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Yeah. See how clear everything is getting. It says, thy Lord will judge between them on the day of resurrection concerning that wherein they have differences of opinion. You bear witness that in the Holy Scriptures, there ain't no differences of opinions. How many differences of opinion do you have? How many religions do you got? That's how I took it all away from them. I mean, you sitting up looking out the window in the dark, everybody can claim what they think they see out there. But when the sun rises, all the differences of opinion of what's out there, huh? Well, that's because the sun rose on it and manifested what it really was. And you see how manifested what's really here. Then it says, call to the way of thy Lord with the instruction from the scripture, with wisdom. Wisdom is instruction. You see? Call to the way of thy Lord with wisdom and goodly exhortation, and argue with them in the best manner. Those who go aright. All right. And so now I'm here calling you to the right way, to the right understanding. I'm going to let you.
We can't hear, a tongue we can't speak, blind, deaf, and dumb, spiritually and mentally dead, mental lepers, white mind. We suffer from paralysis. We have hands that can't move, black self, for black self. Now, Elijah Muhammad's duty is to free us from this. Because we recognize he must be the one, all right. But if he's the one, what is our duty to this one? He is performing his duty to us. But are we performing? Jesus, according to the scripture, found his disciples. He found them doing many. And every time I make a step, you make a step right behind me. Then he told his disciples, look, no matter what you're doing, drop what you're doing. I got a job for you to do. I want to make you fishers of men. Look at it now. Why must his disciples be? They've got to help the Jesus to fish men out of the sea of sin. We're not helping the messenger in that regard. I heard the messenger say once to the sisters that they should be careful and never let the enemy devil take out of them their organs of production. For a barren woman is not desired by a man who wants to see himself repeated again, going on in time. But what do you think if a man does not want a barren, unproductive woman who wants a barren, unproductive people? If you will, oh no, I want you to listen. Oh, praise it.
Barren is what the slaves have been in America. We were not productive for ourselves. And to be like inanimate objects. That's why we were called dead. A rape is dead. A tractor is dead. A horse is a dumb beast, a dead beast. Mental dead and useful as a tool and a slave. And so we were dead, and he called us Negroes as a something to describe us. It's no accident that Negro and Negro sounds the same. You know, necro or necrology is the study or science of studying dead things. You see, we were a dead people, unable to produce anything for ourselves, but we were useful as tools and slaves. Do you understand? So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he came and gave life to the dead. He raised up one of the dead, awakened many, but raised one. And that one is my job as the head of the body to get the blood flowing, the truth flowing through the rest of the body, so that the limbs, so that I can work with you to help you to get up and become productive, a productive new nation. Do you understand? You know how it is when you have laid down so long, you get atrophy. Your muscles and things, if you just been laying. You know, you saw that in the Matrix, where he had never actually used his muscles before, and they had to help him get over atrophy, right? Okay. Well, that actually happens with people that's been bedridden for weeks and months. You know, they can't even hardly walk. When you get them, you have to help them get up and walk again. You understand? Let alone somebody who's been motionless for 400 years. So we have never, you know, when we actually start, when you first start hearing me, I know exactly how to make your head feel. Make your head feel funny. Because for the first time, you actually haven't thought. For the first time, you are actually thinking. Because we never was taught to think. We was told to think. We wasn't taught how to think. We didn't have that kind of school. We were told what to think. And when we could quote back what we was told, we got A's and we got good marks. And so we spent our time learning to say back to the teacher what the teacher said to us. But when the truth comes, something happens in your brain that had never happened before. You start actually thinking, reasoning, and it make your head feel funny. Yeah, I know, because it happened to me. The brother would be talking, and I'd be wishing he'd shut up. And at the same time, I wanted him to keep talking, because I had never had that kind of thought before, and it made my head feel funny. So, but you know, you don't worry, it'll pass, and you will be happy that you can finally use your brain for what it was meant for, as a means of reasoning, as a means of learning the truth. You have never been taught to question what people say to you. If a teacher said it, if it was in a book, you didn't think about the fact that that book was written by somebody, you know. And how you know they told the truth in that book? But you just taking it and running with it because they gave you that book and told you learn this. Huh? Oh yeah, it's time now that you learn better than that. It's time that you learn that this world have not taught you any truth. Not really. They, you haven't taught a person. That's like somebody giving you um, um, uh, 5/10, 8/16, 16/32, and then going from there up to the next thing, but never actually teaching you that that's all saying one hand. If the closest they got you was to 5/10 or to 8/16 or to, and didn't break it on down, they haven't taught you fractions. They've taught you half or partial truths about fractions. But you haven't taught a person fractions until you've taught them how to reduce all fractions, are incomplete until they are reduced to their simplest terms. That's what fractions are. Fractions are parts of one. And since Allah, we say He, Allah, is one. Well, then all of the knowledge that we have is only fractions of the one truth, of one thing, the truth. And no matter how much you learn of the truth, you still only have a fraction. That thing that you have just learned is a fraction of a greater body of knowledge, which we refer to as the truth. Do you understand? And you must always reduce it to its simplest terms. This world does not reduce things to their simplest terms. They give you lies and they tell you that they are giving you the truth. And that's why when they always make it look like algebra, geometry, trigonometry. You know why it's so hard to learn? It's because people ain't breaking it down for you. They're not reducing it to its simplest terms. Everything they give us, and they tell us where to go to study. Go to the library. And everything in there is basically lies. Because if you have not reduced the thing to its simplest terms, you have not told the person that's trying to learn it, you have not told them the truth. Do you understand? You notice the book, the Holy Scriptures, you say, well, God gave us the book, the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran, and it wasn't reduced to its simplest terms. Oh, yes, it was. And God didn't open it for you either. He sealed it up and gave it to you and told you when the Spirit of truth comes, He'll guide you to it. Huh? You give the students books and you open them up. And as the student trying to read it and learn what's in it, he think he's going to learn the truth, and he ain't learned nothing. He done learned just enough to be a tool and a slave to you. So, the time has come. I was thinking over so many many things. I was looking at what is it? Chris Hayes. He had a good deal on that. And
tonight on All In, the Ukrainians did not know that the aid was being withheld. Another tortured White House talking point goes poof. You can't have a quid pro quo with no quo. Tonight, as the Trump defenders spin out of control,
abuse of power is not a crime.
What we're learning about when Ukraine knew about Trump's quid pro quo. Plus, as Rudy's pals meet their judge,
I look forward to defending myself vigorously in court.
What we know about the mob-linked Ukrainian oligarch funding their spree.
What I know who furnishes? FIRTASH.
Then, the Kurdish reaction to the president's debacle in Syria.
Wow, what a great outcome. Congratulations.
And how the most powerful woman in America is standing up to the president, the Gloria Steinem and Robin Morgan.
I think the president knows the argument that can be made against him, and he's scared.
And All In starts right now. Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. One by one, sometimes hour by hour, the president's defenses just keep collapsing. Here's how things have gone as the president and his allies have tried to defend the indefensible. First, they stay out of position, and then that position falls out from under their feet, so they retreat a step, and then that position falls out from under their feet. And so it goes over and over and over again. It started with that infamous phone call between Trump and Ukrainian president, where he asks for military assistance, Ukrainian president, and Trump responds with, quote, "I would like you to do us a favor, though." At first, Trump and company insisted the call was a perfect call, arguing it was perfectly appropriate for a president to coerce a besieged foreign entity into investigating his rivals, so long as there was no quid pro quo. That was their line. And then came Bill Taylor's testimony yesterday. He's the U.S. chief of mission to Ukraine, who made very clear there was a quid pro quo directed by the president. Ukraine would only get the desperately needed military aid that Congress had already authorized if the Ukrainians agreed to manufacture dirt on Trump's political rival in a televised interview and provide ammo for the president's baseless conspiracy theory about the 2016 election. Now, to be sure, the quid pro quo was already fairly clear. It's basically right there in the call text. But Taylor's testimony appeared to establish it more or less definitively. So then they moved the line again, with Trump effectively arguing this morning, okay, there may have been a quid pro quo, but it was a really incompetent one because we never told them we were withholding the aid, which is a defense, I guess. Here's Trump's tweet quoting what a Republican congressman said on Trump TV, quote, "Neither Taylor or any other witness has provided testimony the Ukrainians were aware that military aid was being withheld. You can't have a quid pro quo with no quo." But it didn't take long for that one to collapse either. Just a short time after that very tweet, the New York Times, with an alert on your phone, reporting that Ukraine knew of the aid freeze by August, which, as the Time notes, completely undermines Trump's defense. There is your quo. And by the way, just a little while after that story came out, the AP reported that the Ukrainian leader felt Trump pressure before even taking office. The president of Ukraine, as an incoming president, even hosted a meeting all the way back in May, 2 weeks after being elected, before he was even inaugurated president. And the meeting focused on, quote, how to navigate the insistence from Trump and his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, for a probe into the Bidens. As Trump's defenses keep collapsing, his political standing keeps deteriorating. A new Quinnipiac poll finds that support for the impeachment inquiry has reached a new high, with 55% of the country, a clear majority, backing the inquiry. Nearly half of registered voters, 48%, already say that Trump should be impeached and removed from office. Then there's a situation in the Senate. According to the Daily Beast, Trump has been privately whining that Senate Republicans are, quote, failing to counter-program the Democratic-led House impeachment inquiry. It is understandable they aren't rallying to the president's defense, as one senior Senate Republican aide told the Daily Beast, quote, they are not very enthusiastic about defending the indefensible on this stuff.
Just listen to what Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had to say yesterday.
The president has said that you told him that his phone call with the Ukrainian president was perfect and innocent. Do you believe that the president has handled this Ukrainian situation?
We've not had any conversations on that subject.
So he was lying about that?
Yeah.
I'm sure Trump still has plenty of Republican sycophants in the House. Today, in a truly pointless stunt, seemingly designed solely to generate content for Trump TV, a bunch of them made a big show of storming the secure facility in the Capitol where impeachment investigators are deposing witnesses. We should note that some of these folks are on the committees doing the investigating, so they don't need to storm the proceedings because some were already allowed inside and had been inside before. But they apparently wanted to put on a show of obstructing the hearing, and Trump appeared to be fully on board with their obstruction. Bloomberg reporting the president, quote, had advanced knowledge and supported the stunt. Republicans did manage to delay the proceedings with their hijinks, but they couldn't stop it. And this ongoing and increasingly hysterical whining from Republicans about the process is born of impotence. The Constitution gives to the House, and to the House alone, the ability to impeach the president. Democrats control the House because they decisively defeated dozens of Republicans in 2018. And Democrats now represent a majority of Americans in that body of our government. It is becoming more and more clear that Republicans in the White House view this as fundamentally illegitimate. I'm joined now by Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California, member of the Intelligence Judiciary Committees, who is in that impeachment hearing today. I don't want to talk about your colleagues first. I want to talk about what you learned today and yesterday. Were you able to get testimony today? Was it useful? And what's your reaction to what you heard yesterday?
Good evening, Chris, and thank you for asking that, because that's the most important thing that happened today was that Ms. Cooper, a public servant, came forward. She was ready to testify at 10 in the morning, and despite the stunt that you described, she stuck around all day. And when she was asked to, she raised her right hand, told the truth, gave us new information that is helpful, fills in our timeline, and also just allows us to understand who was involved and not involved in the shakedown scheme. Yesterday, as you described, and I think this in part motivated this effort by the Republicans to obstruct, Ambassador Taylor, as you read in the Washington Post. And I think that statement in the Post shows that indeed there was a shakedown scheme, but it wasn't just a sharp straight line from Donald Trump to Rudy Giuliani. You see that it was also Donald Trump to Ambassador Sondland. So this goes all the way to the top with Donald Trump. It's not a rogue Rudy. You have Donald Trump with these directives trying to use your taxpayer dollars to extort the Ukrainians for his personal benefit.
Do you think, what is your understanding of the argument your colleagues are making about this right now? They seem undecided between no quid pro quo, or there was a quid pro quo, or anything is fine.
Yeah. So, one, it should be noted that we passed in 2018 in Congress aid for the Ukrainians, and then a process was put in place for that aid to come to them. In many ways, aid is binary in that as soon as it's passed and signed in law by the president, the Ukrainians are waiting for it, and every second that ticks by that they don't have it, they know that they don't have it. So that in and of itself is leverage.
Yep.
That's leverage. And we also are starting to learn about the human cost of not having that aid. We've heard now from witnesses describe that this is a matter of life and death for Ukrainians. And if Americans are, really offended and repulsed by what's happening with the slaughtering of the Turks and the green light the president gave there, they should equally be concerned that the president was leveraging this aid, and Ukrainians could have benefited from medical aid and defense aid, and they were dying because it was being held up for his personal political gain.
I want to play you something that the former Attorney General of the United States, Matt Whitaker, although he served in an interim capacity and was challenged in court about whether he was actually the Attorney General. This is what he said yesterday in apparently a guest defending the president. A little hard to tell. Take a listen.
I'm a former prosecutor, and what I know is this is a perfect time for preliminary hearing where you would say, show us your evidence. What evidence of a crime do you have? I mean, the Constitution, sort of abuse of power is not a crime.
Now you see why things are like they are. Man say abuse of power is not a crime. That's what impeachment is for. is when a president abuses his power and his authority. It's a crime against the Constitution. It's a crime against the oath of office. How can you be over the Justice Department, or how can you be appointing Attorney General and you decide that you don't have to answer to the Constitution? That within itself is a crime against the Constitution. What is the point of having someone to raise their right hand publicly and take an oath publicly in front of the American people, publicly, swearing to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic? What is the purpose of an oath if you can't be held accountable for the oath that you took? What is the purpose of it? I mean, the oath becomes empty. It's just like when they have, what he just said is like saying that lying on the witness stand is not a crime. Perjury is not a crime. Well, they make you take an oath to tell the truth. If you don't tell the truth when you get up there, they can charge you with perjury. What's the difference in the oath to just get up and tell the truth, and then the oath when you get sworn into the most powerful office in the country? Now you're going to say that abusing that power of that office is not a crime? So, but this man is supposed to have been, he said he was a prosecutor, or attorney, he was the acting attorney general, appointed by a skinhead, appointed by Trump. But that's wrong.
Use of power is not a crime. What do you think of that defense?
If he was in Russia, if he was in China, if he was in some other countries that I don't think we want to look like, he may be right. It is a crime. It was one of the articles that Richard Nixon faced. And I don't think any of us want to look at our children and say, I went to work today and decided that abuse of power is not a crime.
Final question. What is the timeline here? Obviously, the process complaints, I think, aren't pursued in good faith, but there is some transparency argument that at some point, this can't be behind closed doors. The American people, all of us, Republicans, Democrats, citizens, and journalists, have to hear what's happening.
You're absolutely right, and there will be a public phase. And I want to address, I think it's a fair question, why are you doing this initial phase underground? And first, I should say, 120 members of Congress have access to these hearings. Now, the overwhelming majority of my Republican colleagues who come in the morning and complain about the process, they leave and they don't stick around. I wish they would, because they would be, I think, concerned about what they hear, but they have access to be there. That is nearly more than a fourth of the Congress. But Chris,
the reason that they leave is so that they can have plausible deniability. They don't want to hear all of that truth that's being told about what that man been doing. You see? So, this is what I warned you about with the Tea Party. They were telling you who they are. If you remember the history of the Boston Tea Party, them people was dressed up like Indians. But they were not Indians. They were not Native Americans. They was settlers dressed up like Native Americans so that the England wouldn't blame the colonies, but blame the Native Americans. Do you understand? Well, they came in dressed up and claiming to be Republicans, but they are not. They're a bunch of racist, bigoted people who don't give a damn about nobody but themselves. That same man that claims he don't want nothing to do with black people, you would think he'd be the first one to say, let the black people keep their taxes, and we don't tax them. We won't tax them. And since we don't want nothing to do with them, where are you taking tax money from? You don't want us to have no say-so. Don't want us to have no say-so in the government. Don't even want us to be able to vote or nothing. But they want to take taxes from us. When we go to the market, they tax us. When we work, they take taxes out for their government. And they said taxation without representation is tyranny. They said that, while acknowledging that they are tyrants. They want it both ways. They want to be able to rule over us, but they also want us to have no say-so over how they rule over us. In other words, they want some slaves. Now, I mean, they hear me talking about them. You know, that shows you how much of a coward you are. You claim to have right on your side and claim that you got so much fodder to pour on all us darkies, but you don't want to face one of us and have a man-to-man conversation. You can't even do that without letting filth and foul language come out your mouth. You and the whole world see you. And got up there in one of the greatest nations that has ever risen up, the United States of America, and got your man in position. And now everybody is looking at this great nation, shaking their head. You know, most of these people that claim to be so gung-ho for the white race and all of that kind of stuff, man, if you turn this country over to them, they couldn't build nothing. They couldn't carry on nothing. You'd be back into the campfire days again. A bunch of backward thinking rednecks. Blood, stop right there. Brain, that's what redneck means. All his blood seems to stop right there and don't get up to his brain, because he say things that make no sense at all. And you know, when you ain't got enough oxygen in your brain, your thoughts get jumbled and everything. I bet you he didn't even know what redneck meant. Oh, pitiful thing. And the Bible talk about redneck. He take peace from them. You know, he's a peace breaker. Yeah. Read up on the red horse in Book of Revelation. You know, it was a white horse and then a red horse. Power was given him to take peace from the earth. Well, in other words, he take righteousness from the earth. You know, there ain't nothing righteous about him. Walking around thinking that they put all kind of stuff, all of tattoos all over their body, walk around looking ugly and mean, and trying to frighten you into obeying them. It's only the devil who frightens people into obeying him. his friends. He frightens his friends. And his friends is whoever do whatever he commanded. And that's how he gets you. Bow to him. Threaten you. Frighten you. Remember the William Lynch thing? It said take him and tar and feather him. Get a group of you together and tar and feather him and, you know, tie him in between two horses and beat him and pull his body apart. They like that kind of stuff. So Allah finna put an end to you. I'm here, as he said, a mercy to you, to warn you. And I know you ain't paying me no attention. Not to correct yourself, but you're gonna wish you had. But I want you to hear a little more of this introduction from Minister Farrakhan about the message. That's the moment. I guess it ain't up to them.
Here we have now a white man who has multiplied all over the planet. He has put his seed in every woman on the planet, and he has multiplied his evil, filthy, and indecent way of life. He has made every nation an agent.
Oops. My power cord. I'll just put the other one back on.
Because no investigation was done by a special counsel, as in Watergate, as in the Clinton impeachment trial, punted on this, didn't want to investigate. We're going to do that first close hold investigation to see what the witnesses know. And we have evidence, Chris, recent evidence in our investigation that witnesses are working together to try and coordinate their testimony. That's exactly what we want to prevent, and that's why at this initial phase we're having it in a close hold fashion, but it will be public soon.
Congressman Eric Swalwell, thanks for being with me tonight.
My pleasure.
Joining me now, law professor Joyce Vance, former U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Alabama and an MSNBC contributor. Also with me, former Ambassador of Poland Daniel Fried, who served as Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs from 2005 to 2009. Ambassador Fried, let me start with you as someone who has a long and sterling career in the Foreign Service and in American diplomacy. From your perch and from knowing many of the players involved, just your reaction to what has been laid out over the last few days, and particularly in Bill Taylor's testimony.
Bill Taylor is an old friend, and I found his testimony compelling and devastating. He lays out the circumstances under which the President of the United States abandoned his public duties for the sake of his private interests. That's appalling, and I've never seen anything like that.
An argument out, which basically says, come on, everyone does this. Everyone's corrupt, and quid pro quo is part of foreign policy, and really...
No.
You don't buy that?
I served in the Clinton, Bush, Obama administrations at fairly senior levels. I never saw a president act in his private political interest, ever. I went through 9/11 in the White House, and a lot of tough decisions made afterwards. And Bill Clinton grappling with the issue of Europe after the end of the Cold War. They were acting in what they thought was the best interest of the country, and they did not put their own partisan interests first.
Joyce, there's a converging line. I just played Matt Whitaker, Abuse of Power is Not a Crime, the sort of fundamental view of Republic. And then the Trump's own lawyers in court today, arguing against the Manhattan DA being able to subpoena tax records, going so far as to say that even if he shot someone on Fifth Avenue, he can't be prosecuted or even investigated. Were you as taken aback by that argument as apparently folks?
I listened to that entire argument this morning. It was about an hour of argument in front of the Second Circuit. And throughout the argument, the position taken by Trump's lawyers was really pretty astounding. Obviously, this was sort of the peak moment, peak Trump, right? I could kill somebody and you still can't investigate me. But the entire argument that they make is just reprehensible. It is that a sitting president can't be investigated or indicted, no matter what he does, by state or by federal prosecutors. And that's just inconsistent with any notion of having a rule of law country.
And this is the theme here. I mean, the inability to distinguish between the president's personal interests and public interests, between what's good for the country and what's good for him. And Ambassador Fried, in the president appearing today to kind of, he called radical bureaucrats, he blamed them yesterday, the president appearing to call for a political test for the career of civil service today. He says this: it would be really great if the Trump administration, all well-meaning and good, I hope, could stop hiring never-Trumpers who are worse than the do-nothing Democrats. Nothing good will ever come of them. What do you think about the president sort of suggesting a kind of political test or purge throughout the federal government?
It's appalling to think that the president of the United States has so little understanding of the oath of office that we all take to defend the Constitution. Our oath isn't to a political party, it's not to the president, it's to the Constitution. Foreign service officers, and I was one for 40 years, serve abroad under sometimes pretty tough conditions. Sometimes they don't come home. A little respect for the people who serve the nation, and a little decency would seem not too much to ask from the president of the United States.
Joyce, the through line here in both his conduct in Ukraine and what we're learning, and in those comments there that Ambassador Fried are talking about, and even in the president's defense, is precisely that idea that the nation is Trump and Trump is the nation. And that seems to be the terrain upon which this entire battle will be fought.
It is the terrain, and the president seems to have so personified the country as his own personal interest that one shudders to think what the founding fathers would make of it. Trump is precisely what Alexander Hamilton, what the remainder of the founding fathers, George Washington, what they were concerned with. A president who would self-deal, a president who might be subverted by foreign powers that didn't have the best interests of the country at heart. This is exactly why they created impeachment as a remedy.
All right, Joyce Vance and Ambassador Daniel Fried, thank you both very much.
The argument that the president cannot be charged is one of the most craziest things that they could have ever let fly out of their mouth. In an elected position, anytime your position is an elected position, you are always chargeable to the people who elected you. If they can put you in there, they can take you out there. And since this is what you call I'm glad they finally explained it. They didn't mean to, but a man was trying to, when Peter Strzok was in there, and he said, we live in a democracy, and then that senator, one of the Republican senators, quipped back to him, we don't live in a democracy, we live in a democratic republic, as if to say this is a democratic republic, stupid, And I said, well, now I really get it. That the only place where majority rule is actually practiced is in the House of Representatives and the Senate. You see, whoever has the majority in the House, they have the ability to make the rulings. Whoever has the majority in the Senate, they have the ability to, make the rulings. You see, they control what happens. You see, and because they actually represent all of the people of America. You see, Do you understand? And so the House of Representatives, if it is controlled by Democrats, then the Democrats choose a speaker for the House. And the Speaker of the House, who is that with their phone unmuted? You got something you want to say? Who is that, brother? Okay. So those who the Speaker of the House is the one that decides what's going to be brought to the floor and what ain't. The majority leader of the Senate, which happened to be majority Republican, so Mitch McConnell is the majority leader, and he decides what's going to be voted on and what ain't. You know, majority rules. Do you understand? So for them to act like the people's representatives, which is what the Congress is, the House of Representatives and the Senate, they are called the Congress. And then you have the House of Representatives, they have the sole power of impeachment to declare that they want to impeach a president. But they bring the charge. But the Senate is the ones that hold the trial, hold the hearing, you know. And so they teaching us how this thing goes. And they want to, you got these people in these news outlets, and some of them trying to make it look like it's something untoward happening in this process here, where anybody that knows anything about courts know that you always, before you level charges, you do investigations. And then you decide what you're going to charge people with. Then you have a public hearing as to, whatever charges you're going to bring. Do you understand? And so, but they tried to turn it into a media circus and whatnot and make it look like something is untoward happening. But what's actually happening is some of the American patriotic people are waking up to the fact that they're about to lose their country. And, I just hope that ain't too late. But anyway, so I'm with them on that front. I just hope they ain't woke up too late, because it looks bad. But anyway, as this man said, he ain't never seen nothing like this. No matter who was president, they put their personal life on hold to serve the United States. Now you got a man putting the United States on hold to serve his personal life. Well, that's what happens when you say you want a businessman. And if you had, for you to say you wanted a businessman and then elect him, a man who couldn't even get credit in banks in America no more. Oh man, you lost it. That's all I can say. You lost it. But anyway, it's after 11 o'clock. It's Wednesday. So I'm going to let y'all go. I know we all got to get up and go to work in the morning. So let me let you go. Unless somebody had something they wanted to ask me or whatever. Is there any questions? I even had a song that I thought I was going to play for you, but it's late. So maybe we'll do it Friday. So until Friday, may Allah bless us all and keep us safe and in our right minds. You better keep that prayer that I gave you to keep you in your right mind. You pray that prayer often, because this world is This world is, that's the way Allah brings it into a world. He removes the ability of that world to sustain itself by putting them back to the worst part of life, that after having had knowledge of how to do all of these things, now they know nothing. Are you aware that all of your livelihood, your going back and forth about your daily activity is based on memory? You notice how certain things can happen to your computer, and if you hadn't backed up your files, the memory is gone. Allah can do that with brains, and He's doing it. Okay. Now don't say I didn't warn you. He told me to give you warning. I'm a watchman. A watchman is always, I stood guard duty when I was in the Marine Corps over in now. You up in the tower. Everybody else is down on the ground. They can't see what you see. So you don't see what I see. I'm warning you what's happening. It ain't no accident you see people losing their minds. That's purpose. Allah is bringing an end to this world. So, all right. Don't say I didn't tell you. May Allah bless us all and keep us safe and in our right minds, those of us who hunger and thirst for His righteousness. May Allah's Salam Alaikum.
This session is no longer